My heart dies a little bit, a lot, every time I spy any business saying they can't see the point of email marketing. Happened yesterday. I get my Rachel Ranty pants on and I have to hold myself back, take a few deep breaths and calm myself down, because otherwise I can go full hog and sound very unpleasant to the person who's asking for advice on a Facebook page. But it is especially true when it comes to e-commerce and retail businesses using email, because I truly believe we should be able to get at least 30% or up to 30%, at least 20% of our turnover and our sales from our email if we're doing it right. Before I introduce my live coaching client today, her name is Perzen Patel, and her incredible business, let me just rant a little bit. Emails are meant to make you money. If they're not, it is not the platform's fault, it is your fault. I'm not counting Perzen on this because I know that she is actually having some success and we're just going to tweak some things. But it is true. Like, it makes me so frustrated when someone says, oh, I'm thinking about changing my email platform because I don't really make any money out of it and I'm sending out these newsletters. Now, for a start, we also have to talk about this. No more newsletters. We don't call them newsletters. What a crappy name. Change your perspective around this. It is email marketing. Yes, we're building a community, but it's not all about showing everyone how fabulous you are. It is about building trust, building desire, and getting people to buy from you, whether you're an e-commerce business or a service-based business. So if you're really serious about growing your business, you need to get serious about email. In fact, I tell people when I'm coaching them, and Perzen went through this herself because she was one of my coaching group clients, I tell people, stuff the social media, get your email sorted out first, and then the social media will build on what you've got. I tell you to take a break. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. She did that. She was amazing. She saw immediate results. In fact, I used one of her testimonials in my coaching course that I run because it was so much about the email side. So we're going to do that. Anyway, my name is Rachel Klaver. I've already ranted. I'm a content marketing coach and strategist for small businesses and the host of this podcast, Confident Content, which should be renamed today Rachel Ranty Pants Content. Today we're talking e-commerce marketing and how best to use flows and automation to build your community. We take a look at some of the things that Perzen is already doing with her business, Dolly Mama, what she needs to prioritize, and what is possible with email marketing automation. And we are going to just check in with those newsletters because I'm pretty sure she's not doing them. She has another thing that she does there. Now, I do want to say before Perzen starts talking that Perzen's using Klaver, which is the best to use with Shopify. And that's me saying that as an Active Campaign business. We do a partnership with Active Campaign and we're also Zoho partners. So I still say Klaver with Shopify is the best. It's not necessarily the best with all the platforms, but it definitely is the best with Shopify. So she's using the A-grade option there, which I loved. That's her investing in her company. But the principles are valid across all good email marketing platforms. So don't just go, she's using Klaver, I shouldn't use it. It's the same with MailerLite, which is a great entry level. It's the same with Active Campaign, which we recommend with WooCommerce, and some businesses on Shopify if they have a wholesale side. And I'm helping her kind of better automate everything. And I want her to get more sales and from her emails in 2024. And I'm sure she does too. So let's dig in and get started by introducing you to Perzen. Perzen, hello and welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. It's lovely to be here again.
It's so nice to see you. Now, Perzen was my favorite person in the group for having I just have one question. So I'm looking forward to that I just have one question moment today. Do you want to tell everyone about Dolly Mama and what you sell?
Yeah, sure. So I work with my husband and we co-own Dolly Mama. And what we do is we sell a range of spice blends and ready-to-cook Indian curry paste to make just basically cooking on a weeknight easier for you, but also for people to experiment and go beyond butter chicken.
Which is awesome. And that's one of your catchphrases, isn't it? Going beyond butter chicken.
Yes, it is.
Now, for those people that are listening in New Zealand, it is a product you can get in New Zealand. Overseas, not so much because it is not what we call a shelf-stable product. It is a product that is a fresh product that does need to be refrigerated.
That's correct, but
yes,
we're working on it. So
that's
hopefully
exciting.
we'll be launching Australia this year. So.
That's amazing. I guess it's partly because you've probably been getting quite a lot of requests as you've grown your profile and people getting to know who you are and they're wanting to see and taste it.
Yeah. So we just thought we will try it out. We've been doing a lot of back-end experimenting with packaging and things like that. And we might give it a spin later this year.
Because it's not just for the difference between shelf-stable and obviously fresh. It's not just the packaging. It's also the fact that you often have to change the actual balance of the food. And it's one of the things that you have a problem with sometimes with other Indian shelf-stable ones is the levels of maybe sugar or less spice or less of that richness that you have to sometimes compromise, don't you?
Yeah, that's true. We have to completely change the composition and make sure it's meeting pH levels and all of that kind of stuff. So but hopefully we'll get there. At the very least, we want to start with doing our spice blends because that is something that we're also trying to focus a bit more on this year. Yeah.
And then they could easily, if you've got directions, they could then make it into a paste once they've got it.
Yeah.
And actually, it's funny you said the pH because I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts is Armchair and Dangerous. It's a very long podcast. But he's just released a alcohol-free beer, and he was talking in there about how they had discovered that to mass produce, they have to worry about the pH levels. So I only just learned about that myself. It's funny. Okay, so you've got Dolly Mama, and you've done really well in doing other things. Like you are very busy around that, building that brand. You've got a nice cohesive story. You're really good at storytelling. So there's lots of things that some other people might find difficult that you do really well. And you have set up some automations. Do you want to just tell me, because where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the email that you forwarded me just as an example for me to give you a bit of feedback on that?
Why don't I just give you a holistic picture
yes,
of
that would be great. And I will
doing.
Take a note with my yellow Sharpie because I forgot to bring a pen. Go ahead.
Awesome. All right. So I think last year was when I decided to take emails very seriously and we moved to Klaver at the start of 2023.
Okay.
And originally we just started with doing the 4 campaigns a month, and it took a while to get into that habit, but I think we've got there now, and I've kind of very consistently done that since I worked with you. So we do 4 campaign emails a month, and I do a mixture with the campaigns of sending some to just existing customers, so like 2 go to existing customers and 2 goes to all the profiles. So the customers get about 4 emails a month. The other people get about 2 emails a month. And then in terms of flows, for the longest time, I only had my customer thank you one set up. That was just me being lazy. And then when I worked with you and you gave me a kick up my backside, I got the other ones done. So we've got a welcome series where we've got our lead magnet set up. I've got a abandoned cart. I've got browse abandonment, the thank you, and then a 60-day win back. And I have set up a welcome series for clients we get from farmers markets as well, because
cool.
we do sell regularly at farmers markets, but I kind of started that and I've not really, I've just done a copy paste job and I haven't really, really made it exclusive to my farmers markets clients. So yeah, so that's kind of where we are at.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions around the welcome series. So is there, forget the farmers market one for a minute, is there only one welcome series besides the farmers market one?
Yes, there's just one welcome series.
Okay, so is there not a different one for people who have made a purchase or for people who have shown interest or signed up?
I do the filtering as part of that. I think, hold on, I'm just going to go into my thing. So no, actually, I haven't.
Yeah. So that would be one
yes,
change I
one.
would make. The thing is with this, and you're going to agree with me when I say this, all of this is painful. To set it up is actually painful and horrible. Like I'm currently doing a lead generation because I've got this new thing I'm going to be doing. I've got this amazing lead generation. I've done all the planning. The planning part was the fun bit. Writing it's going to be revolting, and then writing all the emails to go with it is going to be worse, and then setting up all the actual automation part of it is going to make me want to just basically mainline coffee and just not, like I'm not going to want to be a nice person. I'm not going to be a nice person. So let's just acknowledge it is a horrible experience to actually have to do it, but the payoff is worth it.
Thank you for saying that, though.
It's true, though.
Because I'm always like, is it just me? I hate doing this.
I hate doing it. So I feel like the thing is that we're going to probably come out with a whole bunch of actions. I just want you to kind of just chip away. Like, so, you know, like I was saying this with the coaching group, because we've just done like a bigger website analysis of all the different things. And I actually freaking hated it because I ended up with a massive list of stuff I had to do. And I will fully confess that there were 3 things on that list that were on my website audit from last January that I haven't actioned. And they were fairly important things to do. You know, like, we just can't do it all when it's ourselves. It's okay if we're paying someone and go, here's my plan, just do it all. But when you are the person doing it, there's compromises. And I'm paying someone to redo our website, to do it. But I still have to do a whole lot of shit before that happens. And that's hard, fitting that in with everything else. So just acknowledge that. Okay. So we're talking about ideal situations, not necessarily what you're going to do tomorrow. But I would definitely segment my welcome series, because the tone is very different from someone who's done their first purchase and, you know, the welcome to Dolly Mama. I want to tell you a little bit about who I am and what this means to me that you've purchased that. So it's very much more intimate experience. I think the email, and I'm sorry, I didn't print it off, but from memory, you forwarded me one just for me to have a wee look at it. I'm just going to grab it now because I'm going to see if I can find it. Sorry, here we go. Let's go. Let me just find this one. Here we go. Oh, yeah, it was one of the welcome ones. So what I immediately noticed from it, and I know that you've probably taken this from me because of what I've told you in the past, and I'm going to completely counteract myself, and you're going to be like, Rachel, but the immediate thing I want to say to you is that one there, which is the one for people that downloaded the shopping list, that one was that just the text, or is it what it actually looks like?
It's what it actually looks like. So I've set all of them up as just text emails.
Yes. So for that one, I feel like we can totally put some sort of like colourful banner at least at the bottom for those ones that are coming from that list, because we really want to get that richness of those beautiful colours, evocativeness of the flavours and things like that. We want to have that there. When it's the welcome sequence for people who've purchased, I want you to go all out in beautiful design. I want them to look gorgeous. I want it to be, you know, even if it's like a picture of you with your products with a welcome there, so they're really feeling that. And what I'd like you to do, if we're going to do that, make it with is your husband Raj? Rashad. I don't know why I said Raj. I know his name. Okay, so Rashad. So like, say he's like, because they know him, right? So I would put a picture of that, like being at the markets on there, because then it reminds them where they are. So it's kind of that people, place, and time. So you can probably slightly adjust those. I'd make a welcome for the people in the markets, and then I'd modify that one and make that one for people who've made first purchases. But I want it to be evocative and beautiful and make me salivate and be excited. And I really would like that welcome sequence for the products to be like maybe another little extra thing that they could have with like, here's three ways. You might do that in the second emails anyway, but here's 3 ways you can use the pastes, you know, like if you've done it and you've got leftover, here's a little cheeky thing that I've done with it, or something like a little photo. So really thinking about how to make them more evocative and really personalized and really making them excited about what they're going to be buying.
Correct. Just for me to clarify, so
Yes.
when you're talking about the ones that people have bought, I do have the customer thank you one, which is the series once people buy. But are you talking about creating a third series, which is people who've bought but don't have?
So your customer thank you, is it a series?
Yes. It's
So
it's a series I have.
I would call that a
which is after
welcome. Yeah, I would still call that a welcome sequence. So that's where we've probably got. So is it like a series of 3?
So that's the one that I have filtered based on if this is their first purchase or if they've bought before. And so if this is their first purchase, then it's actually a series of 4. And no, it's a series of 5. And if they haven't bought, sorry, I'm getting myself confused. If it's their first purchase, it's a series of 5. And if it's a second purchase or a third purchase they're making, then they just get some recipe ideas and then a recommendation request. So they get 2. Yeah.
Okay. So I like that. And they're full of colour?
No, they're all just
okay. So those are the ones I would say definitely make those colour.
Okay.
And get and have an option for them to come back and buy. Like even if you can do like you could do a thing I'm fairly certain that I know that that Klaver can have a conditional formatting where if they've ordered this thing, you can suggest this thing. If you've ordered this, and have that as an image of like, here's, buy our favorites, and actually have some of those at the bottom. So it's more conditional on what they've done. So actually work with the automation platform to actually kind of get that kind of working better. But they need to be not just text.
Okay.
And I would really like that first thank you one. I wonder if you could do one with, because your kids, are super cute, where you actually, because I know we've talked about, jumping for joy because it's a business. Is that what you're doing in that thank you, where you've got like a little GIF?
We don't have the GIF, but I do have a reel of them shouting really loudly, order, which we had done from a while ago. It probably needs a bit of a refresh.
So you could do that as a GIF.
I normally link to that, but yeah, a GIF's a really good idea. Make it as
a GIF. Like a moving GIF is so effective in these emails, and so I would actually put some movement into these emails to kind of get that captivation, because it's just really great. And I think if you did maybe, if you have been able to filter it for depending on it's the first order or the second order, things like that, you could actually make it conditional on that filter and have maybe 5 different GIFs, because people are like, man, I got a different one. This is really cool. So again, this could be quite fun to make, but it actually just, I'm going to use the ChatGPT word, it will elevate. And I didn't even use ChatGPT to come up with that word, but it will just really lift up the brand. It really will make it better. And I think, the colors that you use, Indian cooking is so evocative of color and scents and fragrance, and it's really hard to convey that in a email. So we've got to make the emails really vibrant.
Okay.
So I think really owning that would be really great. So I do think that doing that would be really clear, and just really making clear, and with e-commerce, and we talk a lot, with service-based business, and I'm always like, don't put lots of call to actions in, but when we come to e-commerce, it's actually different. And so we do want them still to come back and buy. I have lost track of how often I've bought something and I've gone, should I have bought that other thing? And then I'm going back to look at it and think about it. And that buyer behavior, I think it's really important for us to be thinking, what is that buyer behavior? Yeah, people do go back and they'll either buy or they go, yeah, I need to get that thing. So another thing that you can do, and I don't know if you've got this on the welcome sequence for people that have purchased that first purchase, they could have a cheeky little, is there something you regretted doing? Here's a cheeky little extra discount if you get that within the next 7 days or something like that, just to kind of get them to, because often people are like, oh, I should have added that in.
Oh, okay.
Try it.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so try that. And same with the farmers market, the key thing with that is we want those people to start buying from online.
Yeah.
Don't we? So we've got to make that really vibrant and kind of do that thing. So it would be almost like, you might know this face. Let me introduce you to my face. It's kind of like that. So talking about that, there's the markets and that sort of but this is the business together. And, I'm the person that does the talking and the email. So you can kind of do it that way. And that we're a family business. Here's my kids. So I think that would be a really lovely way to kind of get that welcome sequence going. And then say, over the next few weeks. And those people that, you could do this, the recipe ideas and things like that, and always have that beautiful, colorful banner and options for things to buy. Because the best thing with Klaver and Active Campaigner, the other ones with deep data, and I think I asked you before this, what is deep data? Do you have deep data? And you go, I don't know, I have Klaver. What deep data means is that when an action happens on your website, like Shopify, that it brings through to that person's file. It doesn't just bring their name and their email. It also tells you what they bought, when did they last buy it, what their amounts were, and it's recorded as like a little database. And that's what we're looking for e-commerce. I have it for ours. We have a Shopify. We have it for Eventbrite too. And we have tags, but the deep data connection means that you can start filtering and say, man, this person's buying every fortnight. Or this person's buying every 3 weeks. And that's where the automation becomes really clever, because Klaver can actually pull out for you regular purchases.
Right.
And you should be rewarding those people. Or people that were regular purchases but have dropped off. So that's where that kind of key, we need to have color in those emails. you don't have to have masses of amount of it and that kind of follow-up, but we still want to have a real Dolly Mama brand feel in those follow-up ones because it is e-commerce and it's really important that we've got that. They definitely need to have a photo of you in the signature. Then we need to see your products, like, so they can click through. I'd even do an option that you can do, which it can work really well, and it takes ages to do, so I'm apologizing in advance. But you could do like your Dolly Mama. I've actually got your website here, so while I'm talking to you, I'm just going to pull it up. Let me find Dolly Mama. Let me go to your website here. So like, you know how like you've got Dolly Mama and it's got higher-end products, Meet Dolly Mama, Indian experiences, all those bits. You could actually create like a little banner that's kind of got all those little ticks or something like that across there. So you could have, I would probably have you could have the Indian experience product, shop now, Meet Dolly Mama and maybe Indian experiences or something like that, or recipes, and do like a little banner, like a little mini website banner at the top of your newsletter with those little kind of options, and then have like a little image there, and then you could go straight into your product. So it kind of looks like it's like a mini website top at the top, and then there's multiple links there that they can click to, and that just kind of gives that kind of fullness.
That's a good idea. I mean, I have that set up in one of my campaign templates, so it should be
pretty easy to do,
easy crossover.
Yeah, because I think we are trying to really get people. Like, do you have a conversion? Oh, you might not know it offhand, but do you have a conversion rate for anyone that has downloaded the checklist? I would say. With that checklist, I liked the pop-up coming up on your website. It didn't come up right away. It popped up and I'd forgotten that was the lead generation we'd worked on. I was like, damn, this is good. This is great. And I was like, this is a good one. So I did actually really like it. And I was like, yeah, I would download that. And I was going to ask, so is that the only place you're promoting it?
That pops up across the website, so it doesn't just come on the homepage. It's time bound after you've been on the page for about 30 or 60 seconds, I think. I do occasionally promote it on social media, but not as often as I should be doing it.
So one of the things you could do is do that on LinkedIn as your banner. Love Indian food, download my must-have, and do it with a download, and then have it in your featured section, and they can download it there, and then you're going to get that growth from people that are interested. You are going to not just have New Zealanders, that's the only thing.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, one of the things we want to build out is the Indian experience side as well, like where I'm doing some cooking classes and things like that. So
so then that is, I think that would work. It would work, yeah. So the other thing is that let's just talk about that a little bit, because you've got the Indian experiences. By the way, guys, if you are in Auckland, if you're traveling there or you're visiting, I took my mum on one of Perzen's Indian experience road tours. She is still raving about it. My mum absolutely adored it. And I also really liked it, by the way. It sounds like I didn't like it, but I did. But I took my mum, so like, and the food was cool. I had no idea how much Indian street food involved sandwiches with white bread.
And we love our bread.
Yeah,
and potato.
What I loved was because I bought my kids because I know one of your goals is to do a pie collab this year, and not a butter chicken pie. Let's just clarify. But I spied a pie at Z that was a spaghetti bolognese and cheese pie, and I sent a picture of it at Z, and I sent a picture to my kids because my kids love carb on carb, like the idea of that. And I went, oh my gosh, guys, and they're like, oh, and I went, would you like me to send you all money, because they don't live at home anymore? Would you like me to put $5.16 into each one of your bank accounts so you can go and buy the pie? And they were so excited, and they were taking photos of them, and they were rating them and talking about, they're like, the carb on carb experience was fantastic. The only problem was it wasn't released in winter when it would have been the best. So like for them, the idea that you can have potato in a sandwich,
yes,
is beautiful. So I love it. So yes, if you want to go, I would highly recommend Perzen's food experience tours, because they're amazing. Plus you do some virtual things as well. Okay, so let's go back to your emails. So with the food experience, are you segmenting those people separately?
No, I'm not doing anything for the food experience people.
Okay, so you have to, because they would buy from you.
Yes, that's true.
So that's a growth area, as I definitely think they should go into a thank you so much for being part of the food experience. So for example, I saw on Substack that you had how to make those sandwiches.
Yes.
And what you could do is you could give them that, because that's a really cool, easy thing. You've already done it, so it's easy. But then you could also go, here's, you had this thing, here is a product that we sell that could do that or whatever. I think that's a very natural thing. It doesn't feel greasy to me. I'm not saying the food's greasy. It doesn't feel like greasy in terms of sales to me. And it feels very natural. You've built that relationship with them. And you could do it very gently, like, thank you so much for coming. As I mentioned, I own Dolly Mama and we do Indian spices. So if you really love the Indian food, here's some simple things that you could do that replicate the street food that we had a look at, or whatever. So I think that would work really, really well.
That's a really good idea, because I also have that shopping list and we go to the Indian store. So that would be a really nice value add to give to them after the walk anyways.
I think so too. I think that would be, just say to them, I'm gonna give you this, I'll send you a link to the shopping list that I've got, so that when you're looking at things, you've got that idea of what it is. And I really like that idea, because it is a thing that you can get very overwhelmed in, and the shops that you take us to are so good. And also you could actually really keep on building that experience by maybe taking some shots of some of the people that you do have gone to on a regulars, and maybe having those images in those emails as you follow up, because it just evokes that kind of little thing. So it might even be something like you've taken a photo of the chaiwala, chaiwala, and so then you might go, here's how I would make that, or I would link to the stuff. Like, you don't even have to do it full on. Like, you could link to some of the stuff you've written before as well. But you could also go, and I love to have it with this, and you could have, and we're using my paste or my spices or my chai blend, or so. Like, I feel like that would just be a very natural, organic way to do that. And as you're growing it, there should be that interlink. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, so I would.
We don't have that many people coming through yet, but it's about, as you said, about providing that value add to them, and just so that they don't feel like, because right now the risk is that they come to this thing and it's like a once-off.
Yeah, and I feel like you're missing out potentially. So that's one thing I want to mention. The other thing I did want to check, and it's only because I hadn't been doing it, and I have done this now, is when they're going through the welcome series or the nurture sequence, are they still getting your other emails, your weekly emails?
So I don't, so I should separate out. So they do get, they probably are. No, they don't, because I tag it so that they only get it after it's a welcome complete.
Okay,
so they've got the nurture sequence.
Because that's one of the things I was going to recommend, and it was something that, because we have lots of, like, if someone's coming to this and they're doing that, I hadn't realized what that looks like to the user and how many emails some people were getting. And so that's one thing that we did, as we went through and just made sure that there's an automation that says if they are in any other automation, they don't get this newsletter. Sorry for calling it a newsletter, but you know what I mean, the weekly email. The weekly email that you've got, are you okay telling us on the podcast what your database size is approximately?
Sorry. So I just want to clarify, though, like the weekly email, is this the campaign type of email?
Yeah, the campaign ones you're doing for a month. Yeah.
So I have about 850 kind of active people on it. I think the list has grown a little bit, but obviously with that has come all the non-active people.
Yes.
Which was one of the questions I have for you, because I don't know what to do with them. And I feel like I'm wasting far too much time thinking about them.
Okay, so the non-active ones, you can put them into a thing, which is are they non-active because they've unsubscribed?
So it says here 856 active profiles and 507 suppressed, but not everyone suppresses because it's unsubscribed, right? It also, Klaver, I think, auto suppresses people who've not opened for a while or something like that.
So you do need to do one for people who haven't opened over, like, you can decide what it's going to be. Maybe haven't opened over the last 60 days or, so you could do, if you were doing 2 that everyone gets a fortnight, I would probably do it over 60 days. That's 4 emails that they haven't opened. And don't do anything like, you're going to get this, you're going to get unsubscribed, blah, blah, blah. But try and do a win back promo. So like, make it really personalized to them. Get really work on some engagement things that are going to get them opening their emails, like make a bit of a shock factor or something that's going to make them want to open it, and just trying to get them back in like a win back sequence. And then basically if they don't open those ones and do them like every week for like, or even a couple times a week, for like 4 or 5 emails, if they haven't opened any of those emails, and they should have good offers in them and other bits and pieces that are really going to try and get them excited, like a cool recipe, like get it really excited, like balance some stuff in, but do that and they just automatically drop into that.
Yep.
And then once they're in that, if they haven't opened any of those, get rid of them.
Okay.
We want to it feels really hard. And I'm not too sure how it works with Klaver. I know with Active Campaign, if they're inactive, we tend to keep them in because we don't get charged for them.
Yeah, Klaver doesn't charge you as well, but I just feel like it affects my self-esteem. So I'd rather just get rid of them. It's like, if you don't want to hear from me, I don't know. I put in a lot of like my
someone eh? I mean, the thing is too that the other thing is that 850 is getting to the stage where you're going to have issues with people getting the emails. Like as soon as you get over that sort of like 200 in a segment, you are going to get some deliverability issues. So I would be checking, because it might be that those people haven't got their emails have been lost at some point. Because I know for me, I notice with Gmail, if I don't open like 4 emails in a row of someone, they start sending them to spam. And sometimes I'm like, but I want those emails. Like I just didn't open some because that was tricky. So I would definitely do a sequence that is to try and re-engage. We do it with all our e-commerce accounts. We have basically like a let's re-engage, a re-engagement strategy sequence. So I would definitely add that in. So I would do that. I'm just checking with if they purchase a particular product. So say they chose your coastal curry product.
Mm-hmm.
It's called coastal curry, isn't it? I want to make sure. Okay.
Yes, it is.
The coastal curry. I like that. I like the look of that one. So the coastal curry product. Do they get a specific post-purchase like suggestion or something like that with that product?
So that is one of the questions I had, because when I set up that thank you flow, one of the thoughts I've had for a while is that I should shorten the thank you flow so that it's literally just thank you and whatever. But then I actually segment them based on what they've bought. And
I would do that.
It feels like a lot of hard work, so I haven't done it.
Well, I think that it should be conditional. Like, I think you should be able to do it conditional. And what I would do is not do it about every product. I mean, you don't have a huge range. Imagine if it was like something with, 10,000 SKUs. Like, that would be horrific. No. But you can actually do it with, the cool thing with Klaver, and it's something that Active Campaign didn't do as fast, and Mailala, I think, can do it too with the deep data. I'm not too sure, but there are a few others that can do it as well. And actually, even MailChimp can do it. Sorry, those guys who like MailChimp, but I just have a personal thing. But, like they can do with the deep data is they can actually show the products that you've bought, and it, like it's visual. But what I would do is I would select maybe 5 core or 4 core things and just go, if you're using this is 5 ways you can use it, and do it that way, and just have a conditional thing on it, which is basically ranking it. So it'd be like if they bought coastal curry and the Sagwala one, then I'm going to focus on the coastal curry as my first preference. If they bought the coastal curry and the the ghee, and for some reason you said ghee was more important, then I'm going to focus on the ghee. You could do it potentially like a conditional thing, so that it's like whatever the product mix they are, there's like a one is going to be the one that you're going to talk about through that session. Okay. And that might make it easier for you.
Okay.
It's a little bit of working out, and I would do not just jump into it, write it down. Like, write down what you want it to do first before you make it work.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things I learned from you overall anyways, because I would go like, right, today I'm going to do flows.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't actually do anything. You just waste a bunch of time.
Yeah, and you have to really think about, because I always get confused with the and the or.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to try and explain it now because I'll mess it up. But I know one is a Venn diagram that is the middle bit, and one is the Venn diagram that is all of it. And I always get confused. And then I'll be doing like, and, or something. And then I go to tell my listeners, like, why is there only 3 people on this list? And I'm like, oh, shit, I should have done all. Like, you know, so I'm like, I am this person as well. Like, I struggle, but really pay it down exactly what you want it to do. And I know this is also the bit I hate the most, and test it.
Yes, I don't test them.
No, and so this is why it's really important to have like 100% off discount that you use yourself to test them, to check it all, because you really do need to check that it's going to go somewhere. Having a different email, like you've got a Gmail account, which is perfect, so making sure it's there. So I think that's really important. Just give it a bit of a test. Also, that's the same with just checking how it looks and everything like that. So I would definitely do that. So we're going to tidy up and clean up and make the welcome and the thank you sequence prettier and a bit more vibrant with a little bit of movement. Focus on doing a bit more with that thank you sequence, making it a bit more targeted with what they're buying and really working with that. In terms of the products themselves, and I know we've got that lead generation, long term, I think it would be really cool to have maybe can you do downloads on the, actually, so I've got Shopify too. And this was a revelation for me because I have a planner and I have a print one and a PDF, and I wanted to add a video that showed how to use it.
Oh.
And you can go into the back of Shopify. This is not a Klaver thing. You can go to the back of Shopify. Do you know about this?
No, I don't know what.
And there's like a little plug-in app, free one. And you can do a thing that when they order it, they automatically get sent an email with the video how-to guide.
Ooh,
I'm thinking, I know, how cool, right? And so I'm thinking, what about if you did that like when you get this, you get a video of me walking through how to do this, and you can gradually do it and have it in there or like with me going through the 5 ways I've used this week on lunches, or 5. So you could do one of those for each one. And as soon as they get the order, they get that. Because I know that when someone ordered the planner last year, he immediately came back and went, oh, I got a video about how to use it. I can't wait till it arrives now. And he got so excited.
Yeah. No, that's a really good idea.
It's a download.
Because I do have, I created a long post about like 10 things to cook with your tandoori, 10 things to cook with your korma. But, and so I do link to that.
You could do it as a PDF download when they order.
Oh, yes.
See, and then it's just automatically done. And it is sent from Shopify, so it's not you could do it from Klaver, but I just think that would make it easier.
That is a really good idea, to just send it as a PDF, and then they can salivate because
then they're excited and they can get the other stuff ready. Like if they go, potatoes, then I'll go get some potatoes. So they kind of get themselves excited about it. I know, weird. I'm the weird person who currently doesn't have any potatoes in the house, so I would have to be that person. I know. Well, there's only 2 of us now, and I can only eat like a tiny amount of potatoes, so we get like the potato roasties and stuff like that, because I'm literally going, I'll just have 2 bits. It's such a weird mind thing after having to cook for 5 people and going, we're going through 1.5 kilos of potatoes every night. And I was like, we'll just get 2 small potatoes and we'll be fine. It's so weird. Anyway, you've got this to look forward to in many years' time. Many years. Okay, reviews. What are you doing to encourage feedback or reviews?
So we have the auto plugin thingy, which sends an automatic email asking people to do the review. I forget a thing. But
it's
someone
recently,
yes, it's a Shopify plugin. I can't remember which one.
Trust me or something, yeah.
It's a Judge Me.
Judge Me, yeah, I've got it too. I don't know if I like it. I'm trying to decide.
It's a weird. I just have the free version, but someone told me that Klaver has one as well.
Yeah, I would probably use the Klaver one over that.
Yeah, so I'm actually thinking that I need to get the Klaver reviews thing.
Can I suggest another option for you? And it's one that one of our team members used to use. She's got an e-commerce business. We were using with her, and look, it may have changed their rules now. But it was free for, I think, 30 reviews or feedbacks a month. I think it was, maybe more. But basically you can do an automation where they get sent basically it's like a ask nicely thing where they get to record, they say how happy with your purchase. And when they score 8 out of 10 or more, then they get sent an automation through Klaver to say, could you review us?
Oh, okay.
So you filter, and then if they go under 8, it sends you a notification so you can get in touch with them.
Oh,
and I quite like that because then you can cut off any problems.
Yeah.
So that might be another option or a way to do that. And when they're doing the reviews, where are you asking them to go for reviews? Like, where are you asking them to put the reviews?
So the way Judge Me does it is it just does it automatic. So it talks to Shopify and it automatically goes in. And that is partly why I liked it.
I like it too because it goes on the page, eh?
It goes on the page.
Like
you can add it to collection pages and it goes into the thing. If you pay, I think it can also connect to your Facebook reviews and things. And
yes, that's
I think
beneficial.
we're at that point now where we should be paying for something.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking I probably should do the Klaver one. If I've gone in on Klaver,
I
kind of need to
go
all in.
Yeah.
It's a bit more expensive than Judge Me, but it would just tie in. And I think that you can also have them then surface into the emails, which would be quite useful.
I think that would be very useful because I do want you to be doing a lot more client feedback in your emails as well. Don't be shy of not have one in every email.
Okay.
With a product, you could have it like at the bottom, like having one if you've got and one of the hacks I'd tell you is people often do quite long ones. Use ChatGPT to pull out 3 or 4 different quotes from the same person, and then you can use like these 3 or 4 times and it's the same client. So, if you don't have heaps and heaps, it's still going to push it across, which is really useful. Actually, so can I, this is slightly not a email thing, but I would recommend it as well. It's a hack and I know we talked about it, but you may not have done it at the time. And I think it would be a really good one to do because we talked a little bit about Facebook ads is I'd really love you to do a post about one of your products and then email people that have purchased that product and ask them if they would comment how they found that product on that post and give them the post link. And then you can use that as an ad.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, is that how you do it?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you had to set it up as an ad and then I forgot how to.
No, when you go into Meta, into Ad Manager, you can choose an existing post. So you have to write it around really thinking about the fact that it's going to be an ad. So you want it to be, there's a reason that this is our bestseller, this is what, and then asking people who've bought that product to come and, the Kuma post or something like that, to come and comment on it and what they liked it and what they use. Now we've got engagement on it. Facebook will then push that out further, and the people that have engaged with it will also help them target the right audience for you.
Right. Okay. All right.
Little
Very
hack.
Interesting. Yes. I definitely need to do ads this year.
Yes, you do need to do ads this year and do a proper ads funnel.
Yes.
Because, and I'll tell you when you need to worry about it. I wouldn't do it now. But you need to make sure it's set up and going between July and August at the latest, because you need to have it all optimized and working so you can start adding budget September, October, and then go absolutely crazy because you've got Diwali as well and you've got other things. But even around that Christmas time and that barbecue time and all the summer cooking and stuff like that. And I think one of the cool things with your product, it is a product that works really well trans-seasonally because it's going to work really well with curries and, that cold weather comfort food, but then it also works really well with barbecue and summer. So that's the other thing is I would like to see that more in your content of really starting to seasonify it. And this is something that you didn't know when you were working with me because I've changed the way I tea. But can I give you another little hack?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I have really got into metrical auto lists.
Yeah.
And one of the things I would recommend you do, and this is going to make you feel better, I know you and I find writing content really easy. We do. It flows out. But what I'd like you to do is be more thoughtful around thinking about doing more seasonal content. But save all your content and put it in a metrical order list because your products are the same. and make one called the winter auto list and one called the summer auto list. And then next year you could just turn it on and you might tweak a little bit, but all the images and all the stories will already be in there, and it will just be repeated across your socials.
That is quite an awesome idea. I mean, I'm reaping the benefits this year for my emails, because I was like, in January, I was like, oh, I don't want to do any emails. And I was like, right, let me see what I wrote last year.
Can I give you another
tip? And that
tip?
is the biggest.
I'll give you another tip. It is a cost. So I do highly recommend paying for ChatGPT. And I highly recommend getting ChatGPT 4. And this is a hack I've been sharing with my coaching clients. And we're doing a masterclass on AI is coming up. And it's one thing that, the person there was talking about. But one of the things in here that I think is amazing is I had a Word document of all my newsletters for the year. And I gave it to ChatGPT as a PDF, asked it to read it. And then I used that to help it write for me in my tone. For a start, some ideas, pull out quotes that I could use in my marketing, write some of my posts. I didn't have to tweak much for it to sound really like me, because I told it had to use my tone. And the minute it stops, I press stop and go, hey, told you, and I get quite shitty with it, told you to write in my tone. Go back and read the document and write it my way. And they go, oh, okay. And then they do it again. Nope, not good enough. And I'm like real bossy with it. When we first started, remember I always say please, because it's the overlord. Now I'm like, listen, ChatGPT.
Yes, well, it's like about treating them, being nice to your intern, but treating it like an intern.
Exactly. Yeah, be nice to you. But what I would say is, like, with your products, if you've got lots of details around each product, you can then create a ChatGPT kind of database of all the information about that particular product. And then you give it, and then you have the different streams and save it with that PDF. And every time you go to do work, you can say, please read the PDF before you do the work. And so it goes back and reads that initial PDF, and then you can ask it and request it to do something for you.
That is amazing.
It is, and that's like, you and I are writers. So I'm saying that to us because we know our voice, we know what we sound like, we know how to spot it, we know what not to do.
Well, that's always been my biggest frustration with using ChatGPT for anything. I try it and then I just feel like it's a big time waster, because it's like so not my voice. I can't put it at all.
The other thing that's really good for is asking it for themes. So go through your emails, so that instead of if you want to go, I feel like I've got a bit of energy but not heaps, you can go through and go, I am writing my content for this year. Can you go through here and pull out the key themes that I talk about? Because then I go, oh, cool, I can do that again.
Nice.
Yeah. So it just helps with it. Okay, so I just want to go through just a couple more things around this. We could probably do this all day, but do you have a VIP program?
No.
Okay, I think that you should start introducing one of those. But and people have to earn the right to be in it. So you'd work out a frequency of a certain payment level of how much they've spent. So we have, when we're setting things up, we have, for one of our clients, we have people who've spent $1,000 with them, $2,500, $5,000, and she has 7 people who've spent $10,000 and had that.
Wow.
And they get extra attention. So I would definitely do that. I also would look at your analysis and go, what do people normally buy with this thing? So if someone often buys the Sagwala with the korma, then you could do an automation that goes, okay, we often see that is the pattern. So if someone buys the Sagwala, we're going to do an upsell or a cross-sell to suggest that they buy the korma. So you could actually have a thing that says, a week later, love that you bought the Sagwala. How's it going? Is it going great? Did you know that most people who buy that also buy the korma, and this is what they love about it? Here's a testimonial. So you could add some of those cross-sells and upsells as automations.
Okay.
You're starting to go, I'm getting a little tired of these now. This is a bit too much.
I was like, this is so much work.
Yes, that'd be really good. This is good. Yeah, I know. Have you got because obviously we know that those products can last about 3 weeks, eh?
No, they're way longer.
Way longer.
So we've so everything lasts at least 6 months.
Okay.
But one of the things that we do send in our emails is and I know that it takes about 6 weeks for people to use up their, because most people order about 4 or 5 jars, and it takes them about 6 weeks to use it up. So around the 4-week mark, I normally send them out. You probably only have the little bit left.
Yeah.
Here's how to use this one up and things like that.
Now, you mentioned before you've got a browse abandonment flow, which is really cool.
Yes.
It's a cool thing from Klaver that you can do, and you can't do them with all the different things. I would definitely have that browse abandonment flow also going as a Facebook ad.
Oh, okay.
So you should, because it's picking it up from the pixel as well, I would definitely, that would be the one that I'd make sure I do. Anyone, like, I love the fact that I'll go and browse on something and then I'm back on Facebook and there the product is ready for me to go. So bare minimum, that should be happening. Any sort of, so you would do, basically you set up one for anyone that is added to cart and not made viewed content and not purchased in the last 3 days.
So I set this up in Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook ads. I know it's a switch over, but I would do that.
Okay.
I would do that one, and then I would do anyone that has viewed content and added to cart and not made a purchase between 4 to 7 days. Sometimes you'll lump them all together if you're not getting big numbers, but I would make those different sections quite small, and then you might lump them all together, and then just as you get more traffic, increase it. But try for or even just add to cart on viewed but did not make a purchase in the last 7 days, and just do that and actually have that going out with a thing. Because then basically after 7 days they stop seeing that ad. So they're not going to get tired of it.
So just for me to clarify, that is something that I do in Meta, because Meta's pulling it from Shopify, so it's just a segmentation thing?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because with Klaver, Klaver is actually pulling from can also create audiences as well. So sometimes it's popping from Shopify, and with Klaver it's a bit different. It's kind of homogeneous. Like, it's kind of like, in fact, if you create an audience in Facebook, it often creates an audience in Klaver. So you've got to be quite careful how you're getting it to talk to each other. That's one of the things I find frustrating about Klaver, to be honest. But it's also a benefit if you're using it right. It's because I don't know how to use it properly from that technical point of view. So just be aware of that. Maybe do a bit of reading on it. Have you got their birthdays?
No, we don't collect people's birthdays.
Yeah. But if you want, you could ask them if they wanted to, and then do that if you wanted to. But I do like the idea of the VIP program. Definitely doing every 6 weeks. Hey, are you ready? Are you out? And maybe make it funny, like an empty fridge. Like, think about ways you can make this really interesting with a gift. Like, just kind of like you put the phone in the fridge, open it up, and go, like empty thing. Like, do the gift. Get fun with the brand. Like, you have to that's what people get delighted about. With e-commerce, it's all about the surprise delight, and that's really key with this. So I'll do that, and we'll just get one other one to make sure that we've got your time's worth as well with this. But the other thing I was going to check was, and I just said, have you got a subscription model? Are you thinking about doing one?
I've thought about it a few times, but I'm not entirely sure how to do it. And some of the Shopify apps that do it, I think there's a recharge app or whatever.
Yeah.
They're quite expensive. So I feel like I need at least a few to really do it. So I think the idea of doing the VIP program,
I think so too,
is a good stepping stone to doing potentially a recharge later. I did have an idea around the VIP thing, because I know that WhatsApp now has this kind of community feature, or so rather than having a Facebook group, it's like a WhatsApp group. And I wonder if it could be that I ask them if they want to be part of this, and that's where I do some of my cooking class content or some of my extra bits and pieces. It was an idea that I had floating around.
So it's interesting because I know I don't use WhatsApp. I'm old, and I think some of your clients are old too. When I say I'm old,
true.
I'm 50, but I think there would be a technological barrier for some of them.
Okay.
So I think the idea is good. It's just how to make it work.
Yeah, because I've tried Facebook groups before.
Yeah.
And I know they work for some people. It's another thing for me, and I'm always on WhatsApp. So
yeah,
that's also a hang up because in India everyone uses WhatsApp.
Yeah, and it's working
bizarre
it out, right?
that people don't use it.
I know,
in New Zealand.
it is so funny, because it's true. Internationally too, so many people use it. But So I think the idea is good, and working that through would be really simple. I think there is, and I agree with you. I think test out with the VIP group, see if we can get that frequency going, and then from that you could maybe turn it into a subscription thing for some of them. Because I know, like, I get avocados delivered, and I probably wouldn't buy nearly as many if I didn't have a subscription. I love the fact that they just pop up. It's fantastic.
Well, one of the other ideas I had on the subscription was to test it out without doing it as an auto.
If I had my phone right now, I'd be Googling how to use Klaver to create a subscription without buying the Shopify app. I bet there's a solution somewhere.
Okay, I will look it up.
There probably is a tag. There's a tag somewhere that you can add and just make a group, make a list, a segment.
Because in this early days, it should be easy enough. Like, even if I had 10 people,
many, right?
like,
even
that would
10,
just be
and
Excel.
it'll just be, exactly. So I think, and it might just be a matter of having like an automatic payment sort of thing set up or something like that. So I think that's really important. The only other thing I'd just say is probably like just making sure like testing different personalization levels would be quite good. Testing emails, like if you once you've built it up, if you want to get like really focused on it, like looking at things like, is the time I'm working through, just checking to make sure that things are working. Even with the welcome sequence, maybe test it out and see what's giving you more results. Like the things I've suggested about making it pretty, keep the other one the same and do an A/B test and just test it over like 100 or so just to see what's working. So don't feel like you can't test it, but I do think that the color and the just bringing a bit more movement and vibrancy is really going to be more fitting with your brand as well. All right, we could honestly do this all day, but we can't because even though I like listening to 2-hour podcasts, no one else does. So tell me, if people want to get hold of Dolly Mama, where do they go?
So you can find us at farmers markets if you live in Auckland. We're at Parnell Farmers Market on a Saturday, Greyland Farmers Market on a Sunday, but otherwise just head to dollymama.com, and that's DOLLYMUMMA.com. And we ship across New Zealand and hopefully Australia soon.
Yay, very, very exciting. And we can also find you on, you work, have written for the spin-off, sometimes for stuff as well. So you might see her name, Perzen Patel, around there. She's a great Substack blog where you also share recipes and stories and beautiful storytelling about food. I love that. And also for those of you that hate storytelling about food, she provides hyperlinks. You can go straight to the recipe if you don't want to listen to the cool story. And you also, people can find you on LinkedIn as well.
Yes, that's correct. On LinkedIn and sometimes on Instagram.
It's been such a pleasure, and I'm actually going to just catch up with a few things after this because I want to tell you some things that are going on for me, but because it's all about me. But thank you. It's been a huge pleasure having you on, Perzen. It's been lovely, and I hope it's been helpful.
No, thank you. And I'm not going to say I have an idea because I now have 29 ideas I need to do first before
that sounds perfect. I love that. It's awesome. Thanks so much.
Take care. Bye, Rachel.